so happy. It's so lovely to talk with you two again. As we're heading into the holiday season, approaching the new year, are there any specific activities that each of you enjoy with your family during the festive season?
Oh my gosh.
Caroling,
Well, caroling, I was going to say, yeah.
food,
Uh-huh.
frivolity. Yeah, the holidays are just, for us, it's all about family. Drew's actually coming over. Drew and Linda are coming over here next week we're having a little caroling get together. So we're gonna sing Christmas carols and have some good food and some good drinks.
Love that.
It's been from since we were kids. May have told you this before, but Jonathan and me, our parents, and our older brother JD, we would always every year get together at the holidays. We would go door to door to our neighbors and friends, caroling to them, and by the end we have like 40 people. My dad and me playing the guitar. Sometimes Jonathan would play the bagpipes.
Right.
Most of the time, I would dress up as Santa.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But the one thing I do miss that, because in Canada where we were at the holiday time, there was always snow. And so it was nice to have the snow and the playing. And so I actually got the snow machine and I'm putting in like a little snow area on the property here. So our kids and Drew's going to bring Parker over so they can experience what snow is, because in LA you don't get any.
Yeah. No, that's so sweet. I know tobogganing is like a good Canadian memory to have all the time. I love that memory of mine. I'd love to talk to you guys a little bit about the White House Christmas special. I just watched it. It's so fun. And it's now available to watch on Max. There is such a beautiful whimsy and magic to the decor this year. So what was something that stuck out to both of you on the design spectrum?
Well, I think the one thing for me that I love is that, it's brought throughout the entire design is 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. This is the 200-year anniversary of the publication. And that's pretty cool to me. I have some old vintage books and children's books. I didn't have that. So when I went in and we're looking at the old books, and then we see how they carry that throughout with the reindeer as soon as you walk through the doorway. Everything about it was magical. And I really love Dr. Biden's vision. The whole thing she wanted to brought to life was this sort of childhood whimsy. And it really did happen.
And some people may think, how on earth are you going to do these things, like have a giant Christmas tree that's growing through the East Portico roof, or having the reindeer flying? And as soon as those ideas were conveyed, then all of a sudden our minds started working. There were 300 volunteers, incredible companies as well, like Glitterville, that were working on it and pulled it off. And it was magical. You walk through there and you feel like you're a kid again. That was actually the greatest part of it, is that one big tree growing through the East Portico. The idea was all the presents, all the tree, it was all oversized so that you feel as an adult like you're a kid again looking up at the tree. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, I love that. I thought it was a really cool touch. I'm sure you guys also, I don't want to spoil it for all the viewers, but you do sing to Dr. Jill Biden. I thought that was such an amazing moment. So were you guys starstruck? Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. Mm-hmm.
I love, Dr. Biden's an educator, and so she's all about books. She teaches literature, and so for me, it's almost like when you're in her presence, she is fully in on whatever you're saying, whatever you're talking about, and she's really engaging in that way. And I love that when you're having a conversation with somebody. And I love that the idea of educating children through story was the entire idea of this design. It was pretty cool.
I decorated the White House last year with Zoe, and so this is my second year. And Dr. Biden is just so down to earth and so kind, and wanted to make sure that everyone felt represented, because this is the people's house. And so it was really nice to be back again and to see it all come to life and showcase that. But it really is, it's a magical place. It's the most famous house in the country. And now we get to say we decorated it. So
it's cool too. I mean, walking around, we see there's a lot of crafting. In fact, next year we're probably going to bring our mom with us because she loves this, and Zoe and Linda love crafting. But we're seeing all the things like creating paper rings or popcorn strings. There are a lot of things that the volunteers were doing with us that were literally what we did as children. So that was fun. It was almost like my young nostalgic Drew coming back for a little bit of that action.
Well, and that's what I think. I think people are going to be able to watch the show, and I know it's streaming now on Max as well, and people can watch it and take inspiration home. There are so many projects that people will learn from watching it that they can do immediately.
Yeah, for sure. And let's talk about Celebrity IOU. I love this show, and I appreciate the intimate look at just how, these celebrities, they're more than just celebrities. They have actually these people behind them who've been rallying. They've been helping them throughout their years. This season is shaping up to be another incredible one. So can you tease any particularly emotional moments or surprising challenges that were possibly encountered while working with celebrities this year?
It's hard to pick just one because there's so much connection. The way that every single celebrity talks about the people who are part of their life. So Sterling K. Brown giving back to their nanny and assistant. This is somebody who has been a massive part of their life. Everybody is almost like family that they're giving back to. And to see that she was struggling, she has her 4 kids plus her grandchild. But she was told by the city, by the courts, that she's not allowed to adopt her grandchild until she has a house that will fit the family for them all to live in. She was searching and searching with how expensive LA is. She just couldn't afford. So she finally found a home, but she spent every penny on getting the place, and she wasn't able to actually renovate it. So Sterling brought us in to actually transform the kitchen and the eating area and everything so the family can actually use it. And now she's able to adopt her granddaughter. Like, it's that critical a moment of what we're doing to help these families transform their lives. It's pretty heartwarming.
Yeah, it was the same too with Regina Hall's episode. She was giving back to Vonda, whose daughter has sickle cell anemia and suffers from really bad respiratory issues and illness. And it turns out that their house not only did not have air conditioning, but the heating system in there, it was so old and absolutely unhealthy. It was pumping around really, really dirty air throughout the house. And so this wasn't even just about having a house that's beautiful. It's about having a house that's safe. And so that episode got really, really emotional, and especially for the reveal, because you're transforming these recipients' lives. This is a huge thing. And then on the flip side, it's also so fun because you see Rosario Dawson and Zoe Saldana in their sledgehammering walls out, and actually both of them sledgehammering Drew, taking Drew down. This is a new running gag, by the way. I love this because it started with Halle Berry, who choked out Drew, tackled him to the ground. Then Zoe Saldana and Rosario Dawson, all these powerhouse women are now taking Drew out. Maybe it's so that the show becomes.
Is it really surprising when you think about it? Zoe's, like a superhero. Rosario's a Jedi. Yeah. Halle was a superhero. I mean, I don't know. I need to shape up. I need to become like a DC superhero. I'll be Aquaman's like awkward cousin or something like that.
No, you can be Orm. You'll be Orm, the evil brother.
I'll be Orm. That works. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you two work with the stars together on these projects, but there are some established design elements in these renovations that I feel like, are they implicit signature additions from each of you? Like perhaps a feature wall is super Jonathan, or a type of marble countertop is very Drew. Do you add any of yourself into these projects?
No, I think the one thing, I mean, Jonathan, you can answer for yourself, but the one thing for us is, as designers, we never try to impose us on whoever we're working with, because we're not the ones who live there. And I think that that's a mistake for a lot of designers to try and force things on the client. So for us, that's why the celebrity is such an integral part of the design, because we don't know these people like they do. And so when we really hear, like when Ray was telling us the story of how his assistant has been life-changing for him.
Yeah.
He jokes like he says, I'm a little neurotic and I'm a stress ball. And she's the one who knows how to diffuse that and work with it. Well, for him to tell us over the years and years of going to her house and letting us know what needs to change, we wouldn't know that on our own. And especially when we're trying to surprise some of these people, they don't know what we're doing. We can't just go and ask them what they want. So
I was literally talking with Zoe about this yesterday, because I've seen designers who refuse to put a microwave in any kitchen that they design. I'm like, well, that's not realistic, because most families use a microwave, or who refuse to put upper cabinets. You need to design homes that make life easier, which means you need to really understand and appreciate the recipient. I had a slightly different answer than what Drew said. I said that if you ever look at these designs and you see a really crazy, expensive, fancy feature, that's usually something Drew added. So,
why not?
The one nice thing, though, is I will say with our shows is we use ourselves, we kind of pimp ourselves out to get as much free stuff for these homeowners as we possibly can. So we have incredible partners. When you see the Brad Pitt episode with that Murphy bed that comes down over the sofa that just looked like shelves before, all of those things, these companies work with us to offer this technology, and we couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for that team.
Yeah.
We even, if you look like Maya Bialik's episode, it was a backyard renovation. But I love when you see these celebrities do what Maya was doing, where she was literally in this heavy duty equipment. She was driving it to knock things out, pull out old stumps, clear the space. There's nothing they won't do because they love these people so much. And for her, Nancy is like her sister from another mister. And she met her way back when one of her babies were being born. And actually, I think it was at Disneyland. They're standing in line. Or at some event, they're saying they just randomly met in a line. But anyway, the length of time, some of these people, the celebrities have known for a decade, 2 decades or more. And we really rely on that story and how they know each other so well to know what we have to do. Even all those expensive things I want to add, it's all from what our
we could literally talk for like an hour about funny behind the scenes. I know we only have 2 minutes left here, but there are so many stories. That's what I think makes the show the number one show. It makes it so fun for people to watch. It's because you see this human side of these celebrities, and we get to ask them stuff that nobody's ever asked them on a red carpet.
Yeah. And I do want to just note that I loved that stained glass crow. It was so beautiful and it made me cry. My sister was watching it with me. We were just like, how did you guys come up with that? It was such a accent. It was such a nice thing. And it's like the light. I feel like it's a beautiful metaphor.
Yeah. Christy said it was important. It would just remind them of family. And yeah, absolutely. I loved it. And I got to do it, like to be a part of it, doing it hands-on was pretty cool. Linda and I did a date night there as well after, because I love the idea of creating like a little stained glass.
Yeah. In terms of the season, something that I really loved in the Anna Faris episode, Jonathan, when she asked you what's it like being a twin, you said it's like having a built-in best friend. And that really touched me so much because I am so close to my sister. She's 5 years older, but everyone always thinks we look like twins. And I always feel like it's one of those things where I say I was born with a best friend. It's like I automatically have. So how has your dynamic as brothers informed your relationship as design partners that have perhaps expanded your craft in ways you couldn't without the other?
Well, I think the nice thing is no one knows you better than your sibling, especially if you shared a womb together. Hence our shirt that says bros, womb to tomb.
When you sit on someone's head in the womb for a while, you really get to know them. Yeah.
But
the one thing I would say,
we always say it's like finishing, when you have a friend and you finish each other's sentences, it's like that times 100. Sometimes Drew and I will have entire conversations where we're not actually saying anything. Like if you were listening as a third party, you wouldn't understand what's happening, but we call it our twin tuition. We know exactly what we're getting and what we want, and it just works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the one thing with respect to that is great, though, is because like in any relationship, you spend enough time with somebody, you know what their strengths and weaknesses are. And, as a designer, not that Jonathan has weaknesses, but, for me, I love to dive into spatial planning. I like to figure out the Tetris, the puzzle of it. And Jonathan, pulling rooms together in a different way. There are ways that we can ebb and flow and work off each other where we're not always doubling up on everything.
Yeah, for sure. Before I let you guys go, I always love chatting with you. The shows are so amazing. I always feel like the Proper Brothers show. I learned so much. I try to make my own background look like something that you guys have done. But
looks amazing.
Thank you. So
I like the little Papa Presley.
Yes, of course. Got to have kind of there. He's very popular. What role do you see Celebrity IOU playing in inspiring viewers to consider home improvement projects of their own?
The big thing I would say is, aside from home improvement projects of their own, we do try to show how everybody can get hands-on and be a part of something, but also know when to work with professionals. But truly, the biggest part of that show is trying to inspire people to do a little something nice for someone you love. It doesn't have to be renovating their house, but there are small things that you could do that could be really meaningful and life-changing for people.
And I think it's great to use a platform like ours to showcase technologies that are actually good for human health, for the environment, that are the future of home technology. So, no one has a bigger platform than we do. And we're fortunate that we're pretty strict about what we showcase, but I'm glad we've had a positive influence on everybody.
For sure. And I'm just so happy that everyone gets to watch Celebrity IOU. Premieres January 1st on HGTV and Max. And on that note, guys, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you both. So excited to chat.
Thank you. To you as well.
Thank you. All the best. See you in the new year.